Hello, my dear friends. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome. My name is Sarita, and today we have the final installment of our Christmas in July series. We have had two candles up to this point. One is the Kringle Alrum and Evergreen candle, and then we had Yankee Candle Spun Sugar Flurries, and today we have the Pièce de Résistance. Prepare yourself. Ta-da! HomeWorx. We have Dreaming of a White Christmas. Look at that label. Isn't it beautiful? Oh, wow. It's this beautiful, like, kind of slate blue, slate blue gray with this, like, gold. And it's got this gold lid thing with a bow on it. I mean, it's kind of a cheap lid, but it is kind of, you know, goldish, and it goes well with the gold band here. Now, I bought these from QVC, and because they had the TSV, the today's special value, when they did the Kringle, and they did sets of these for $40, shipping and handling included. And I had never bought HomeWorx off of QVC. Frankly, I've never bought HomeWorx anywhere except like either Ulta, when they had them in Ulta, they kind of still do, and Marshalls and TJ Maxx. So I have never bought a Kringle or a HomeWorx candle from either the shop, their respective website, or from QVC. This was a big moment for me. And I looked at all of the candles. Not only did I love this like aesthetic, but a brand ambassador from HomeWorx, who will remain nameless, really highly recommended, previewed this, and really highly recommended it. And I really respect them and respect their like scent profile. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. So I bought this. It came maybe about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. And I have been burning this up because I thought to myself, this is a great Christmas in July candle, not only because it's a Christmas candle and it gives me an opportunity to review something that is hot off the press because this is a brand new fragrance, but also the brand ambassador said, and I agree, this candle could be burned at other times than Christmas. It is very much a cooler weather candle because it has various different notes that are cool weather, but by cool weather, you could definitely burn this in the fall or going into the fall. And I know many of you are already burning those fall candles. I don't, because I'm a seasonal burner. However, for the purposes of Christmas in July, I was really happy to take one for the team. So the notes on Dreaming of a White Christmas, this is an entirely new fragrance for HomeWorx, list winter air, crushed peppermint, marshmallow fluff, and white birchwood. And I love all of those notes, actually, especially the birchwood. And the winter air, the birchwood and the winter air. I'd be happy with those two. Crushed peppermint and marshmallow fluff are a little gourmandy for me, but the fact that they're mixed with the other things makes it a combination that I think might be really nice. And I really do kind of like a peppermint with a marshmallow fluff, which gives you a very nice, like, peppermint bark kind of situation. Like, there's something about the white chocolate marshmallow against peppermint that can just smell really amazing. So, and the brand ambassador said that, and that the white birchwood actually came out really, really nicely. So I thought, done, signed, sealed, delivered. The reason that brand ambassador is not going to be named is because this candle is not good. And by not good, I mean it is a lovely fragrance, but it does not perform. So let's get into it. I have burned this baby. Look at that. All the way. Positives that I can say. It has burned all the way. It has not given me puny wicks. It has not sooted. It does pool fine, with the caveat being that, especially for the first half of the candle, I would burn it and it would take an hour and a half at least for it to pool correctly to the edges. And I think that's a little unacceptable given that there are 4 wicks on this bad boy. It's one thing if you've got 1 wick. And with some soy formula, or some soy, with some wax formulas, even 2 wicks, it'll be a struggle to get it to burn all the way to the edges, depending upon the diameter of your candle. But when you have 4 wicks and it takes over an hour and a half to pool, I don't know that that's a positive thing. These wicks are very tiny, and as you can see, they have a tendency to kind of, you know, that kind of thing. But I haven't had them die or like completely be submerged. They are very tiny though. They are very tiny, which is probably why it takes so long for it to like pull all the way to the edges. That said, if they were thicker and they like sooted, that wouldn't be great either. So obviously there's like a bell curve and there's a sweet spot that you have to hit in terms of wicks. This is definitely on the thinner side. You just be prepared for a longer than average pull time for a candle with 4 wicks. Those are all like pretty good positives though at this point. Unfortunately though, the scent, the strength and the throw on this is anywhere between a 3 and a 5.5 or a 6, 3 to 6, something like that. And I know you're thinking like, oh, 6 isn't too bad. You can only get this one to go to a 6, listen carefully, if you burn it for about 5 hours. You have to burn it for 5 hours, like straight. And you have to keep it within a fairly small space. So I put it in my bedroom and I closed the French doors and I burned it for, I'll just let it go. I mean, the good news is it doesn't soot. So you can let it go for 5 hours. It's fine. And I have burned it longer and longer as I've realized that, and it's fine. I mean, it's burned fine to the end. So usually it's not great to burn a candle that long. This one, you absolutely can. And if you want any kind of strength or throw from it, you have to let it burn for over 4 hours. Ideally over 5. If you've got the time, and it needs to be in a fairly enclosed space. It can't be some crazy open concept situation. If you put it in an enclosed space and you let it burn for 5 hours, you can get it up to a 6. I opened those doors and it was like, oh, such a lovely scent. It like hit me nice. It wasn't overwhelming, but I would say it was definitely in the strong 6 category. But should you have to burn it for 5 hours in an enclosed space to get that? If you don't, believe me, this will be much more of a 3 or a 4 max, 3, 4 max. And I just don't think personally that that's appropriate or acceptable. Given the price of these candles, I just don't think it is. Now, like I said, scent is super lovely. Oh my gosh, it is really lovely. So it's everything that's listed, no more, no less. Top notes, I would say marshmallow and birchwood, actually. Marshmallow and birchwood. So you're definitely getting the marshmallow, but the marshmallow is kind of in that high top range. And so it's there, and it definitely like comes at you. But it's also like thin, light, and top, yeah? And almost in equal measure, you have the birchwood, which is like grounding it. It's really lovely. It almost goes the way that you think like Marshmallow Fireside should, minus the smoke and the flames and the fire, yeah? It's that beautiful wood with the marshmallow. Yes, there is the crushed peppermint, but the peppermint is subdued. And I think that that's absolutely fine, because peppermint, it tends to be one of those fragrance notes that can overwhelm, okay? And here it is, it's soft, it's edited, it's supporting cast, but in a really lovely way. And it adds this like cool candy dimension. And then there is something about the whole that does remind you of kind of a little bit of an ozone. So with that and the birchwood, the ozone and the birch, it does kind of feel a little bit like outdoors, cool weather. It's a lovely fragrance. Does it blow your mind? No. Is it like crazy innovative? No. but is it executed really, really well, blended beautifully? It's gorgeous, and it's the kind of fragrance that I think should have mass appeal. The gourmand folks will be able to really love it because they've got that like marshmallow fluff and the peppermint sticks, the crushed peppermint, but then they're also going to love the fact that there's something like very outdoor woodsy about it as well. It goes like marshmallow fireside. And even for those of us who don't love gourmands, like the strength and the austerity of that birch wood and the winter air, it just kind of makes everything delightful as opposed to like oppressively sweet and gourmand, if that makes sense. So it's a lovely fragrance, but it needs to be bumped up. It's like at a 3 and it needs to be bumped up to at least a 7. So we're talking, we need double the amount of strength that is actually in this. There have been murmurings and whispers that HomeWorx has yet again reformulated their formula. I mean, on the back here, it just says proprietary wax formula to deliver a perfect burn, which sounds impressively vague. There have been murmurs that with this last release, they have reformulated their formula and not for the better. I definitely thought it was below average strength and throw, perhaps even for a HomeWorx candle. So in that sense, I can't recommend it. I'm hoping this is maybe just the lightest of the bunch, but I've heard murmurs that even the other ones that were stronger were kind of afflicted with the same thing. Like I said, the wicks are thin and crazy, and they made me nervous, but maybe I was lucky. I got all the way almost to the bottom, and I think I'm going to continue burning this. It's impressive that you can get it all the way to the bottom with that kind of a burn. So if the improvements were about being able to do that, I think that that was successful. But if it was at the expense of strength and throw, I don't know that there are going to be many people who are going to get behind it. And although it was highly recommended by the brand ambassador for the fragrance, and fittingly so, it's only half of the story, right? I mean, it's not just about how something smells, although that's extremely important, and it can be the difference between a non-starter for you or like something you're going to purchase. But it also has to perform fairly well. We don't want to buy an expensive premium candle and then it give you like a 3 or a 4. It's a nice Christmas in July because it anticipates the fall season a little bit, and I know a lot of you are already burning fall. So I can be recommended on that level. It is a lovely, lovely fragrance. Very marshmallow fireside reminiscent. It's definitely in that genre, minus the smoke. And with a little bit of like peppermintiness, which almost comes across as like a little bit of a coniferous, like balsam kind of note. Like it's in that genre. It's not pronounced enough. The peppermint isn't enough to make it be like, oh, this is Candy Cane Lane or something like that. It's not like that. I would say it's much more solidly fall than it is Christmas, but it's a delightful combination just across the board. So really high marks on the fragrance itself, low marks on performance. And folks, I believe this is still available on QVC. Many of them sold out. I'm not sure that this one did. So you could keep your eye on it for sure. And as long as you're willing to put it in a small space and burn it long, you might be happy with it, especially if you can get it at a fairly decent price. So I'll link all of that information. Even if it's sold out, I'll go ahead and put that down there too, because at least you can take a look at it. So those are our 3 Christmas in July candles, and the winner was Yankee Candle. Such a surprise. Yankee Candle Spun Sugar Flurries was the winner by a wide margin. That was a lovely candle that I can highly recommend on all levels. And there we have it. There we have it. Unfortunately, for many of you, this channel will now proceed to the final moments of summer. So, because we're seasonal burners here, yeah, you are going to get some summer candles in the next couple weeks. And if you're already like Absolutely not. I'm in the fall season. Like, you know, I'll see you in a few weeks because we're definitely going to transition probably halfway in August. We're going to start burning some of those, like, basically apple or pear transitional fragrances into September. But let's have a few strong weeks of, I've got a banana blooms candle coming up for you from Milk House, and a couple others here because those high August weeks, man, they can be the hottest of everything in the summer, you know? And I personally love to celebrate the light as long as it lasts. So that's what we're gonna do. Have a lovely, lovely few days. I will see you soon. Catch you in the next one.